It's Friday the 16th of August, it's 6:30 and I'm off on the first leg of the VF Fuel Economy Challenge to Adelaide. Off to Adelaide Glenelg and back on one tank of fuel, 886 kilometres. Let's see if this car can do it. Just heading out of Mount Gambier, I'll set all the gauges back to zero and we'll test this car on litres per 100 kilometres, average fuel consumption, distance to empty. Okay, we're in the cruise mode now, sitting on about 105, 110 kilometres an hour. The car is now using between 7.6 and 7.8 litres per 100 kilometres. Based on those sort of numbers, getting to Adelaide and back shouldn't be a problem. We're well into the trip now. Let's have a look at the economy gauges and see exactly what the car's up to. So the fuel range is still sitting at 631 kilometres distance to empty. We've travelled exactly 136 kilometres on the trip. Fuel used, 11.1 litres per 100 kilometres. Average speed, just over 90 kilometres an hour. And average fuel consumption, 8.1 litres. So based on my calculations before I left, I need to get this car below 8 litres to get to Mount Gambier on one tank of fuel. The technology in the new VF Commodore is amazing. The new MyLink information system means that you have one-touch finger operation control. You never have to take your eyes off the road. Text messages, updating Facebook status, calling your friends, family, can all be done at the push of a button from your steering wheel. I've just received a text message. Let's have a listen and see who it is.
Message from Liana Roberts, the 11th of March 2012, 8:28 a.m. Good morning, Bryce. I hope your trip goes well. Drive safely. Oh yes, you forgot to put the bins out XX.
Okay, well there you go. Maybe technology isn't always that good. Forgot to put the bins out. Okay, we've made it to the town of Tailem Bend. Looking down at the fuel gauge there, we've only used a quarter of a tank. Things are looking pretty good. Let's check the gauges and see how much we've actually used. Average speed, 91.7 kilometres an hour. Fuel used, 26.6 litres. Trip, we've travelled 334 kilometres. Hey, it's distance till empty, still 552 k's. And average fuel consumption, 7.9 litres per 100 kilometres, exactly where I wanted it to be. Okay, 110 k's to go to Adelaide. Let's see how we go. Okay, we're cruising in Adelaide now. We're on Crossroads. We're heading down to Glenelg. Look down at the fuel consumption, 7.9 litres per 100 kilometres. Looking at the fuel gauge, in between half and 3/4. The VF Commodore is certainly so much better on fuel than the previous model VE. As you can see, we're here in Adelaide. It's bucketing down with rain. We're about to turn right onto Jetty Road. Let's try the park assist. Let's see how it works. Now the trick is with the self-parking, you need to have two cars with a space in between. And you line yourself up as you drive past, then the car does the rest of the work for you. We're here in a car park at Glenelg. I'm going to activate the system now and we're going to attempt to park in between these two cars here, perpendicular. As you can see, my hands are away from the wheel. The car does all the work for you. Change it into drive. As you can see, the car now lines itself up. Back into reverse. How simple, how easy is that? There you go, hold and park assist. It's that simple. Okay, we're at the toll gate, on the way back home right now. Just looking down at the fuel gauge, still well above half. We better check the gauges, see. Average fuel consumption, we've actually snuck up to 8.2 travelling through the city. Fuel range, 441 k's. We're right on the limit. Trip travelled so far, 453 k's. fuel used 37.3 litres. So we better make up some lost ground here from driving in the city. So sit back and relax and let's see how we go. We're almost at the halfway mark, key for the trip home. Let's have a quick look at the economy gauges and see exactly where we're going. So trip to date, we've travelled 668 kilometres. Average speed now sitting at just over 83.2 kilometres an hour. Average fuel down to 7.8 litres. As you can see here on the camera at the front, we're just about to hit Keith. So let's pull into the servo here and quickly have a rest stop, and then we've got the last 200 k's to go. Okay, we're just going past the Mount Gambier Airport, looking down at the fuel gauge. Nowhere near halfway on the last quarter. So the VF Commodore is very, very, very fuel efficient. I've averaged 7.7 litres per 100 kilometres. For a round trip, that's 886 k's there and back, 7.7 litres per 100 kilometres. I could not be happier. The VF Commodore, it's made it back to Mount Gambier today on one tank of fuel. 7.7 litres per 100 kilometres. Left Adelaide today at about 1:30, just after 6 o'clock here in Mount Gambier. The VF Commodore has proven that large cars are very frugal on fuel, and there's not a problem at all driving one of these from Adelaide to Mount Gambier and back on one tank of fuel. The myth has been busted. 2.19. It's official. The new VF Commodore. That's the best trip I've ever done on Adelaide to Adelaide and back on one tank of fuel. Large cars, who thought they could be good on fuel? Well, the new VF Commodore has just proven. 7.7 litres per 100 kilometres on a trip to Adelaide and back.